Welcome back. Today we're talking about liminal space again. Ooh. Liminal space is something we've actually talked a lot about on this channel. Despite only having done 2 videos about it, I just realized my last video I did about liminal space was in September, which was like 7 months ago. But we referenced it a lot, and I realized that I'm always referencing it and saying like, oh yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen me talk about this before. We're due for doing it again. So, we are looking at the liminal space subreddit because it is so far the best source for this sort of thing. I'll explain liminal space to anyone that doesn't know or needs a reminder, but let me show an image first. We'll start with this one. So look at this image. How does it make you feel? Nothing, potentially. Something. Maybe that something is a little uneasy, a little bit confused, a little curious maybe about what this is. Is this a swimming pool? Kind of looks pretty weird to be a swimming pool. It looks very like fancy, but also like ancient history fancy. I don't know. It might bring up any amount of thoughts. And that's the fun part about liminal spaces, is it doesn't really have a specific thing you're supposed to feel, I wouldn't say. Some people find these images creepy, some people find them calming, sometimes people find these like a sort of eerie nostalgia, I think I've described it as before, and people like that description. So what is it? What is liminal space? Now I'll read you their description on the subreddit, and I think I've read it both other times, and it's kind of not super helpful, and I'll explain why. A liminal space is the time between the what was and the next. It is a place of transition, waiting, and not knowing. Liminal space is where all transformation takes place. Wait for it. If we learn to wait and let it form us. That last line, I always say this, but it goes from like a good description to like an edgy attempt at poetry.
Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Kind of cringe. So, how do we apply that to this image? It's kind of empty, right? It feels like there should be furniture here. Why is there a ladder here? Are they working on this area? This room doesn't really make any sense. Like, could you live in this room? Could you use this room as storage? It feels like an attic with how low the ceiling is. The floor, it's just probably the angle, but it looks like the floor's kind of at angle and the ceiling's kind of at angle. Like, the floor doesn't look flat. You look at it and you're like, this is just kind of, there's something wrong with this image. It seems like some work needs to be done here. It seems like it doesn't quite fit right, and it seems kind of otherworldly. Now, people will use Photoshop and like Blender to do 3D models to like make fake photos that kind of capture this thing, but this is listed as a real photo, but people will use like Blender and create stuff like this that are meant to be kind of like capture some of the vibe, but those don't always hit for me because usually it's just like, this looks like Minecraft and I can't get into it. Here we go. My girlfriend works in a bingo hall and sent me this. It's pretty weird to look at. It's so uniform in like an almost Dr. Seuss kind of way. You almost have to keep reminding yourself that there's no mirrors here. This looks like an image that would have a mirror halfway through, so it looks like it goes on forever. As far as I can tell, this is the real size of the room. You can see the red wall at the far end there. Everything is so uniform and perfect, but there's no one in here. Again, you're familiar with chairs, you're familiar with bingo, you're familiar with large rooms with this sort of lighting, but everything's kind of like a little bit weird. You know, there's rows of chairs facing each other in like kind of unusual primary colors you don't often see used so heavily. Weirdly shaped tables. It all looks vaguely kind of like 90s looking, and it looks like you could pack a ton of people in here, but there's no people. I'm done explaining it now after that. Hopefully no one's confused at this point. I'm not going to explain liminal space onto every photo, but I just want to make sure everyone gets it, because if you don't understand it, you're not going to have as much fun in this video. It's just going to be me talking a bunch of gibberish, which might be how it sounds anyway, but we do our best. We got a text post. I really enjoy just existing in hotels. The long identical hallways, the soulless abstract art, the weird noises the air conditioner makes, strange city lights in the window, 6 stories off the ground, strangers chatting in the hall, nothing in the dresser, no past, but an infinite present. Hotels are kind of perfect for this. Hotels are transitional. No one lives, well, I should say no one, but most people, when they stay in a hotel, it's just for like a few nights. Sometimes just one, sometimes if you're somewhere for a while, it could be like a week. But you're never like moving there. You never bring your furniture with you. And I've always said this, if you're staying in a hotel for less than like a month, which is pretty normal, don't put your clothes in the drawers. That's weird. I know it's there for that purpose, but it's kind of like payphones. Like, they're there, you can technically use them whenever you need to make a call, but if you've got a cell phone in your pocket, don't be weird, just use your cell phone. The area in my school courtyard always gives me such a weird feeling when I walk alone in it. Yo, this looks like computer generated. This is a real photo though. Also, this looks like a bird. Just a little side note here. Looks like a little caw caw. Now, a lot of what makes these photos so good is when people frame it properly. If he could just take a half a foot step to the left, he almost had it lined up like a Wes Anderson film, but that's close enough. I'll give it to you. Perfectly uniform. We've seen doors, we've seen courtyards, we've seen brick buildings, but this just looks, like I said, it looks computer generated. It's familiar, but it's eerie. This is a good photo. This could be to 2 separate rooms or just for traffic control with a lot of people coming in and out. It does add a little extra layer of like, when there's 2 identical doors that seemingly go into the same room. My town late at night is terrifying. Dude, where do you live? Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? These look like little like toy sets. This street looks super new here, like freshly paved, freshly painted. But this looks like a Lego set from the 80s or something. This is like the first house that you make in Minecraft. And then this, come on, can we go for 3 analogies in one? This looks like where you have to shelter during a storm, and then everyone in the entire store stops and stares at you the entire time you're in there, like a horror movie, because you're not from around here. Anyway, that's pretty creepy, dude. I would like to see what the rest of the town looks like. Did he just pick like the creepiest part of the town just for the image? Or is like this just a weird kind of corner of the town that looks weird and everything else? Like there's a Walmart like right behind him, like just packed with people. These are the kind of questions I ask myself. Okay, we found it. We found an alternate view. And that doesn't really help at all. In fact, this building looks pretty weird too. Come on, Greg, you got this. That looks like the daycare that the bad kids went to. I like that this little Minecraft house just straight up turns into like Alcatraz back here. They're trying to hide how bad it actually is by just making it also bad. Like, look at this front, like paint it blue, make it look friendly, because it used to be this brick, but it's like, this actually looks a whole new kind of bad. In fact, this looks murderous. This just looks old. Also, I can't roast buildings all day, okay? Underground bunker built at the height of the Cold War meant to emulate normal suburban life in America. Weird. Do you think these plants are all real? I feel like they have to all be fake, right? The grass is obviously fake. Oh, yeah, there's a drain right there. I feel like you just wouldn't bother with that many if they all had to be fake. Like, that isn't... Fake plants don't make me feel better, you know? I'm not like, I can relax and breathe in that fresh air near all my plastic plants. But they really went all out with the plastic plants. I mean, they do have a pool, so maybe they have plenty of access to water, so I guess you could water the plants, but that seems like a bad idea. Just rich people things, I guess. I dreamed of this place and recreated it on Source Engine. I've seen several posts where people said they dreamed about it and then recreated it. Interesting. You guys having liminal dreams? Because I'm not. This is pretty creepy. It's the gap in the arm rail that kind of makes me feel weird. The door being slightly open, the like awkward tile, and you can see like rows of chairs that kind of go into the darkness with one light on just at the door. It's so dimly lit, like you're not supposed to be here. I'm gonna say go this way towards the exit and not this way towards Five Nights at Freddy's. That's my personal advice to you. Chinese Ghost City looks like a world border of a game. Yeah, it kind of does. Like, you can't go that way. That's the DLC. The reflection is trippy. Look at that. Looks like a barcode almost. Like I said, these pictures, sometimes they're just cool. Out of business. Oh, so creepy, dude. Dang. That makes me feel so weirded out. Krusty Krab would never go out of business. This one, though, I don't know how he was still in business. His food was trash. His service was trash. And don't even get me started on the time he tried to mind control the whole town. I Spy books. This is probably a little niche. I imagine the population of people that are familiar with I Spy books is probably not that big. I had these books as a kid, and it is very liminal, especially because the images weren't really like real. You know, like you think you would just build this out of toys, take a picture of it, and that be the book. I can't speak for all of them, but they all kind of had this look to them where it was very like fake looking, but like uncanny looking. Like, this looks pretty realistic, but you've got this weird thing where it's like floating. You got a weird like Disney looking sunset out here, and you've got the DreamWorks logo, or as some would call it, the moon. You got an airplane. There's no indicator of movement. It's just kind of like right there in the air. This is a very good example of liminal space. It just kind of feels ugh, you know? And it definitely gets the nostalgia part as a bonus because this is nostalgic for me to see because I haven't seen these kind of books since I was like 5. Whew. Okay, we've seen this one before, but it's a good example of almost right but not. Yeah, we've all seen white tile with blue water before, but what the heck is this structural design? This doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Imagine walking down this tunnel. What's around the corner? This hotel pool my girlfriend and I just swam in. Why would you go in there? That's so cool, guys. Good design. I mean, I get it. You know, you're trying to appeal to the kids. There's a snail and like a mushroom. And oh my goodness. Never mind. This is creepy as hell. See that tree guy in the background? Dude, I've seen this tree before. Creepy McDonald's tree 80s? There he is. The devil himself. That's actually not the one I was thinking of. Yikes, dude. Anyway, getting sidetracked. Creepy. This little corner is creepy. You can tell there's like water that comes up from the ground. It's like a little miniature water park for the kids. You know how kids don't know anything? Just slap some giant eyeballs and a big smile on it and it's cool for kids. But as an adult, that's creepy as hell. I mean, honestly, I feel like lots of kids would be creeped out by this. It's not really liminal space, but it is creepy. We can agree on that much. The city of Detroit, the largest of liminal spaces. It is very weird to see like a city like this that's like empty. You know? There's one car and there is a train. So there could be people on those, but there also could not be. Could be a ghost car, could be a ghost train. Something to think about. This was my neighborhood today. Bro, sandstorm. It's crazy looking. Look how orange that is. Whoa. No one at sight, no sounds, just the wind. Yo, this one's cool. It's cool enough that the clouds are like a straight line all the way from the horizon, but the fact that he's got it lined up with the power lines just makes it that much cooler. Liminal space aside, that's a great photo. But yeah, trippy. There's no one around. It just looks empty, and then this looks kind of otherworldly and eerie. This person says, "This is my school." What on earth? This is like if Costco made the set for Squid Game. I couldn't design a more weird school. Like the fact that they couldn't just have this go along the wall here or have it hit the wall flat and have the doors be on the wall. They felt the need to like build the wall out at like a weird like 19-degree angle. What are they teaching you here? Telekinesis? This room at a high school has an odd feeling to it. What is with your guys' high schools? Who are these people? This is like Walmart brand Hogwarts. These old chairs, these weird, kind of genius design for desks. I'll give them that. And then the super repeated. Also, is this a drawer on the end of each one? So this slides out. Bro, that's sick. And these are shelves. Bro, that's sick. This is absolutely A+ efficiency on desks and chairs here. But that doesn't mean it's not creepy as hell. There's like a couple people down at the far end. Can you imagine? What's the point of making it this long if there's a teacher down at the end? The teacher at the front is like, does anyone have a question? And some guy in the back who's like a mile and a half away, or looking at this image, I think it's probably Europe. So it's more like you're 2,400 meters away and you're like, I have one. And then some little kid runs all the way down to you with a can with a string attached to it. And you talk through the can like a Little Rascals movie to the teacher. And she says, F, because that's your grade that you're getting for interrupting her. I had coffee today. Looney Tunes backgrounds. Ooh, these are pretty good. Yeah. Yo, this is some prime content here. Yo, look at that. Power lines that just make no sense. You know, I didn't even really think about it too much. But yeah, it's like if you're drawing backgrounds for a cartoon, like you don't need to make them make any sense. You just got to make them be backgrounds. There's like just power lines in like every direction, all in one spot. Dang. Love it, dude. Love it. Is that like a bar of soap or like a stick of butter on a handrail? Fantastic. All right, a few more. Oh, this is pretty cool. Okay, so this person says, I like to take some photo, remodel it in 3D, and relight it in some uncanny, dreamlike way. This is done in Blender. So here's the image they used. It looks pretty normal. I could see how you could see this and imagine the potential of liminality. They remodeled it in Blender, which I don't know much about Blender, but I imagine this took some time, so hats off to you for taking time for our amusement. And then they add like sort of like a Dreamcore filter over it, give it that sort of static look. They have it so there's only one light in the image, and it's like a super bright light coming from like below the camera. It's like all power was knocked off in the whole city, but then like, I don't know, alien with a really big flashlight or something. It also makes it look kind of toy-like. For whatever reason, this makes it look small. Eerie. Anyway, last one, and then we'll call it for real. This is just a cool photo. I need to make a call. That's so much snow. I wonder where this is. Crazy. Alrighty. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know a lot of it is just me talking and going on tangents. But if this is not your first video here, you're probably pretty used to that. Subscribe if you haven't, if you want to. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Check out my Discord or Instagram. Links for all my stuff is always in the description. My description is a little bit liminal. There's a lot of links down there, but there's not a lot of people clicking on them. Kind of eerie. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.